or economic event. Radio Algeria International, our voice in the world.
This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
President Abdelmadjid Tebboune chaired today a meeting of the Council of Ministers relating to several sectors. And the representative of the Polisario Front to Spain, Abdallah Arabi, has said that the only fair solution for the Sahrawi people is to grant them the right to freedom and independence. And as the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres once again urged for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the Israeli occupation pursued its pounding of Gaza, killing and wounding several people. And Russia has lowered flags to half-mast for a day of mourning after more than 130 people have been gunned down with automatic weapons at a concert outside Moscow in the deadliest attack inside Russia for 2 decades. And those were the major developments. Now the Food News edition. Good afternoon. President of the Republic Abdelmadjid Tebboune chairs today a meeting of the Council of Ministers devoted to presentations relating to several sectors. A press release from the Presidency of the Republic indicated that the Cabinet meeting examined presentations relating to the implementation of complementary development programs the provinces of Khanchlat, Ismsilt, Jelfa and Tindouf, and report on the progress of the General Agricultural Census and the Electrical Connection Program for agricultural farms, industrial zones and activity zones, in addition to the preparation for the 2024 Olympic Games. And the Chief of Staff of the People's National Army General Said Chengriha paid a working visit of inspection to the Republican Guard Command as part of visits of inspection to different departments of the People's National Army during the holy month of Ramadan. In a statement made via video conference to personnel of the early commands units, he stressed the importance given by the Army High Command to the Republican Guard in setting all the conditions necessary to the promotion of what he called such a weapon.
We made sure at the People's National Army to raise the Republican Guard to the rank of elite, whose performance is worth the noble missions entrusted to it, and to raise it to the rank of excellence. To this end, all the necessary factors and conditions for the development of this weapon have been met in a way to be in a perfect harmony with the sensitivity and the vital character of the entrusted missions, in line with our firm will to make of this command and this staff a role model to follow in several aspects related to instruction, discipline, and professional performance.
The Army General also emphasized the responsibility displayed by the faithful children of Algeria to safeguard Algeria's security.
The executives and the personnel of the Republican Guard must show the highest level of professionalism, preparedness, and discipline to live up to the trust placed in them, the unconditional loyalty to the message of our valiant martyrs, and the constant preservation of the nation's supreme interests. The high sense of the supreme national interest shown by the faithful children of Algeria was the main motivation which gave them the necessary strength in order for our country to enjoy today, under the leadership and support of the President of the Republic, Supreme Chief of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, this security, immunity, and this high level of safety, security, and stability, despite the hard times the world is currently going through on the regional and international level.
That was the statement of the Chief of Staff of the People's National Army General Said Chengriha. And now political parties have welcomed the decision of the President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, to organize an early presidential election next September, affirming their availability to contribute to the success of this important national event. Mohamed Khatel.
The National Liberation Front (FLN) party welcomed the decision of the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, deeming it a sovereign decision which reflects the permanent attachment to maintaining constitutional electoral events and preserving the stability of the country's institutions. The Al Mustaqbal Front welcomed the decision which, it said, testifies to the constant attachment to the constitutional process, saying that it reflects the exceptional relationship uniting the constitutional institutions, the regularity and the relevance of the new orientations of the new Algeria. For its part, the Tala' al-Hurriyat party considered that the decision of the President of the Republic falls within his constitutional prerogatives, stressing that a strong and stable state in terms of politics and security with a prosperous economy is a state which has legal institutions and a stable, strong, coherent and synergistic internal front. The Al-Nahda movement said that it respects the decision of the President of the Republic, hoping that the next presidential election will see the enshrinement of the popular will with mass participation, with a view to implementing the rule of law, maintaining the stability and removing all obstacles hindering the building of a strong economy, in addition to allowing Algeria to continue its role as a pivotal player on the regional and international levels. The National Entente movement, for its part, indicated that the decision to organize an early presidential election denotes the political will for return to normality, as well as Algeria's constant concern to preserve constitutional stability and the proper functioning of institutions. The National Activist Front, in turn, welcomed the decision to hold an early presidential election, affirming that it comes at the right time to silence the voices wishing to sow doubt.
You're still listening to Radio Algeria International, and the Speaker of the National People's Assembly, Brahim Boughali, has met in Geneva with his Azerbaijani counterpart. He chairs the parliamentary network of the Non-Aligned Movement. The details with Majid Mila.
During the meeting, which took place on the sidelines of the 148th General Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, was the opportunity for both parties to discuss ways and means of strengthening bilateral cooperation in all areas, particularly at the parliamentary level. Concerning the Non-Aligned Movement Parliamentary Network, Mr. Boughali affirmed Algerians' constant support for this network, particularly with the extreme polarization context which currently marks the international relations. After hailing the Azerbaijani counterpart for the success of the presidential election in her country, Mr. Boughali said the meeting was an opportunity to evoke the strong relations and continued dialogue between the two countries, recalling his recent meeting with the special envoy of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, during which several issues of common interest were examined. On the occasion, the Speaker of the National People's Assembly evoked the visit that the Algerian-Azerbaijani Parliamentary Friendship Group will make to Baku next month and the expected positive results of such a visit, which will contribute to strengthening the cooperation between the two parliamentary institutions. The Speaker of the Azerbaijani National Assembly, Ms. Gafurova, called for more efforts to be made to support the action of the two groups of friendship aimed at consolidating cooperation, in particular in the fields of teaching, culture and education.
And the representative of the Polisario Front to Spain, Abdallah Arabi, has said that the only fair solution for the Sahrawi people is to grant them the right to freedom and independence. The Sahrawi diplomat also insisted on the responsibility of Spain as an administrative authority to respect international law with regard to Western Sahara. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, Mohamed Sidati, has called on France to consider its policy towards Western Sahara in response to the statement made by the French ambassador to Morocco on March 21st. And to the Middle East now, as the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres once again urged for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the Israeli occupation pursued its pounding of the territory, killing and wounding several people. Palestinian sources said 84 people were killed and over 100 wounded for the past 24 hours in the Israeli occupation's bombardments that hit several northern areas of Gaza, as well as the region of Deir al-Balah in the central parts of the Gaza Strip. The Israeli forces intensified their attacks on the southern part of the besieged enclave and assaulted the Al-Nasser and Al-Amal hospitals in Khan Yunis, which had already been targeted by the Israeli attacks. Several people were killed and wounded in the assaults. You still listen to Radio Algeria International, and the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres urged the Israeli occupation to lift the last obstacles still hampering the delivery of aid to Gaza. During a joint press conference held in Cairo with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the UN chief stressed that the whole world agree that it is high time to silence guns and implement a ceasefire in Gaza, while evoking the sufferings of the Palestinian people, whom he said are imprisoned in an endless nightmare, especially during the fasting month of Ramadan.
So Ramadan is a time for spreading the values of compassion, community, and peace. That it is lost through that after so much suffering over so many months, Palestinians in Gaza are marking Ramadan with Israeli bombs still falling, bullets still flying, artillery still pounding, and humanitarian assistance still facing obstacle upon obstacle.
And the UN Secretary General, who urged the Israeli authorities to lift the last obstacles still undermining the entry of aid into Gaza, was accompanied by the Director General of UNRWA, who was recently banned from entering the enclave. It's worth noting that the UN Security Council will be meeting tomorrow to vote a new draft resolution on Gaza. And to Russia now, where Russia has lowered flags to half-mast for a day of mourning after scores of people have been gunned down with automatic weapons at a concert outside Moscow in the deadliest attack inside Russia for 2 decades. Miriam Barshi.
Russian President Vladimir Putin declared a national day of mourning after pledging to track down and punish all those behind the attack, which left 133 people dead and more than 150 injured. The Kremlin announced the arrest of 11 people, including 4 terrorists involved in the attack. In an address to the nation yesterday, Putin expressed condolences to all those who lost their loved ones. Ukraine has repeatedly denied any role in the attack, which Putin also blamed on international terrorism. People laid flowers at Crocus City Hall, the 6,200-seat concert hall outside Moscow, where 4 armed men burst in on Friday. Let's recall that the armed men fired their automatic weapons in short bursts at civilians in the concert hall.
14 hours, 43 minutes, Algeria's time. We still listen to Radio Algeria International, and that's it for our news bulletin. I invite you now to listen to our economic program presented by Said Bouazi.
Hi and welcome to our weekly program devoted to Algerian economic news. First in the news, the CEO of the Sonatrach Group, Rachid Hashishi, accompanied by the governor of the province of Bijaya, Kamaluddin Kerbush, has paid a work and inspection visit to the province where he inspected and monitored the operation of the group's structures in the province, said the press release from the group. Rachid Hashishi began his visit accompanied by senior executives from the group by inspecting the project to build the seawater desalination plant in the Tigremt region and the municipality of Tuja, where the delegation heard technical explanations on the progress of the work, which has reached a completion rate of around 44% thanks to the 24-hour work rotation system adopted in order to meet delivery deadlines. The National Bank of Algeria, BNA, and the National Agricultural Mutual Fund, CNMA, have signed a partnership and insurance framework agreement in Algiers, providing insurance cover for loans granted by the bank to professionals in agriculture, fisheries, and aquaculture sectors. This agreement aims to strengthen the financing of various development programs in the agricultural and fisheries sectors. It also aims to guarantee the solvency of agricultural, fishing, and aquaculture projects through various insurance products designed by CNMA to respond to the various climatic and health risks. A partnership agreement has been signed in Algiers between the National Institute of Public Health, INSP, and the School of Statistics and Applied Economics, UNSSEA, with a view to developing activities in the field of scientific research and public health studies. On this occasion, the director of the INSP, Abdelrazak Bouamara, pointed out that the INSP's aim in signing this agreement was to establish a disease surveillance and data analysis system to improve the strategies developed. The public startup accelerator Algeria Venture and the Swiss diagnostics and biotechnology company Roche Algérie has signed a memorandum of understanding in Algiers with a view to supporting Algerian startups operating in the health and medical technology sector. The aim of this partnership is for the two parties to support and mentor startups operating in the health sector by providing them with access to resources, expertise and networks necessary for their growth. It was explained at the signing ceremony. In more Algerian economic news, the National Union of Public Contractors, UNEP, has considered that the installation by the President of the Republic of the High National Commission on Investment Appeals is a precious achievement for investors. In a press release, the employers' organization hailed and welcomed the establishment of this High Commission, considering that its creation is one of the most significant innovations of the new law on investment and welcomed by all economic players. The chairman of the Commission for the Organization and Supervision of Stock Exchange Operations, COSOB, Youssef Bouznada, has reported that nearly 80% of the shares put up for sale by the Popular Credit of Algeria, CPA, have been subscribed as part of the bank's flotation on the stock exchange, the first phase of which was completed on 14th March. Speaking on National Radio Channel 1, Youssef Bouznada said that investors from 58 provinces took part in the bank's share subscription operation, which testifies to the emergence of a stock market investment culture, pointing out that more than 42,000 people subscribed in a short time. The Sonelgaz Group has launched the production of carbon monoxide detectors at the electrical and gas equipment production unit in the province of Sétif, the group said in a statement. In an informative video, the group showed the launch of the production operation of carbon monoxide detectors at the electrical and gas equipment production unit, which will be installed free of charge in people's homes in line with instructions from the public authorities. And to wind up our program, exports of liquefied natural gas (LNG) from GECF countries rose by 1.9% in February to 15.98 million tons, the organization said in its monthly report. This increase was driven by Algeria, Malaysia, Mozambique, Nigeria, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates, which offset the fall in LNG exports from Angola, Egypt, and Trinidad and Tobago, explains the document, noting that from January to February 2024, GECF LNG exports rose by 4%, 1.30 million tons more to 34.05 million tons. And with this we come to the end of our weekly program devoted to Algerian economic news. Take care and bye-bye for now.